Welcome to the Oddsbreakers, number one place for shared, sharp betting information.
Welcome back to podcast 64 of 2024. I'm your host, Kiev O'Neill. You can follow me on Twitter at OBKiev. Follow the Oddsbreakers. Follow us on social media / the Oddsbreakers. This episode is being brought to you by The Season. To get in the largest contest in all the land with over $250,000 in guaranteed payouts, please visit the SZN.com/OB for $60. You can get into all these contests. Just click on the link from our site and get in our free positive EV survivor. If you'd like to support the Oddsbreakers and benefit from our premium plays, please visit theoddsbreakers.com, click shop, become a member, pick any. For winning cappers, get the premium plays before the line moves. You can also support us on patreon.com. And if nothing else, please visit the Oddsbreakers and become a free picks and Telegram subscriber. Well, I got to tell you, Derek Stevens, once again, outdone himself at the Circa, treated us like kings, had just an amazing weekend, met a lot of great people, some new guests we're going to have on, definitely some old ones as well, ran into a ton of old friends, just an amazing weekend. I decided to do 1 millions and one survivor. The way I look at it is this: if I was going to do more than one survivor, I think it would mess me up. I want to be contrarian. I don't want to go with the big favorite all the time. I actually might go with the big favorite sometimes, but I kind of want to be picky and choosy, and I feel like I'll just be burning my other survivor in that situation to do it. Now, maybe I play a survivor somewhere else and have the same picks until the end, and maybe at the end I can go against myself if I can make it to the end. But either way, I'm pretty stoked for an awesome year of football, and just what an amazing weekend at the Circa. There will be an overlay, and I highly suggest you get down there and get signed up. You're going to get a positive EV overlay in the Circa Millions. Circa Survivor is going to pay out all the money anyway. It's just the best thing to do if you bet the NFL. But unfortunately, when I got back, the very day after I got back from Vegas, still very tired, my daughter that morning at school, my daughter Gracie, breaks her arm on the monkey bars. And man, that turned my day yesterday upside down. I had so much to do that I couldn't get done. And I had to sit at the hospital all day basically because they were also short-staffed. So they didn't have enough nurses to do all the procedures they had, so it just delayed everybody. And so we just had to sit there and wait. And that was rough. And I do like the Phoenix Children's Hospital normally. It was just really rough that we caught them on a day that was short. But the break was pretty serious because we went somewhere else first, and just in Ortho, Arizona. And they couldn't take care of it because they thought that she's too young for them to do it, which I was kind of surprised. If your name's Ortho, Arizona, you're an orthopedic, you should be a master at this stuff because they assumed that she needed anesthesia. No, she didn't need anesthesia. They just gave her some ketamine and set it in like 10 minutes. So I was absolutely shocked by that. But we did not get home till 8 o'clock at night last night. And it was just one hell of a crazy day. Thank God she's okay. But I have to wonder, this whole monkey bars thing's for kindergartners. Now, trust me, I love it when, the older kids, anything over, second grade plays on monkey bars or kindergartners with sand. But if you're going to have a hard ground, there's going to be a lot of broken bones. And I asked some people at the hospital, they say monkey bars is the most common thing at school that people come for injuries. It's like, seriously, that thing's going to cost me a pretty penny now because of this whole situation. So it went from amazing to pretty rough pretty quickly after Las Vegas. But it set the podcast back here. So that's why it's being released a little bit later today. And obviously couldn't have any guests for you because of this, had to cancel. So my goal is to talk about just a couple things. I want to talk about a little college football for the coming weekend, which we're going to hit again for the Thursday morning podcast. Obviously, we're going to do our shows Wednesday, mostly 1 p.m., anytime between, I would say, noonish to 2 p.m. Pacific. We're always going to have our live show on YouTube. So if you can just join in live, comment, because you can't comment on YouTube. Obviously, talk to our guest, have any questions, or just be a supporter of the show. I'd really appreciate that. Trying to build up the YouTube side of things here. But either way, the podcast does drop every morning on Thursday. So we're planning a good guest for the Wednesday live show. Get his picks before the show actually comes out. All right, starting with college football, I'm just going to start out with week 0 was dogs, just all dogs. I only gave out one play, and I trusted Georgia Tech on the team total over more, and that hit. Can't remember if I gave it out on the show last week. I think I kind of did. I definitely did when I was doing the live shows on Friday with the Circa guests, as well as some of the other great guests that we have on. But I took all dogs. So did Sean Kanaki, and we killed it. I wish I gave out New Mexico plus 14 because that was just disrespectful against Montana State. They should have won that game outright. They actually choked that game away big. But the fact that the dogs were barking kind of told you that a lot of these favorites were overbought. And I definitely did some adjustments on my power ratings. Florida State, I had to significantly bring them down, and Georgia Tech significantly bring them up because what I saw wasn't a fluke. Georgia Tech just looked good. Haynes King looked very good. I started too low on them, And Florida State, DJ Uiagalelei, did not look that good. He looked kind of like he did at Clemson, in my opinion, and really rough for Florida State to be losing that game. Now it really almost takes them out of college playoff contention. Now it doesn't, as we know, because you can now afford a couple losses here, but they better get in there and win the ACC because that's the important thing for this team to try to advance. And right now, Georgia Tech's got the lead on them in that conference. New Mexico, Hawaii was one hell of a storm going on. I meant Delaware State, Hawaii, and that's what helped the dog to cover in that. The dog was like a 40-point dog in this situation, and Sean and I took that after we hit all the other dogs, and of course we regret we're in Vegas. Why didn't we not parlay it? Because I do just fun money parlays sometimes, as you know, but that was a pretty easy winner, and so was the under because the under, hit pretty quickly, and the weather changed in Hawaii so quick it really kept a lot of sports books exposed to that under. And I heard from Derek sweating that thing, and he had a rough game, definitely with the unders with that perspective. That's how Hawaii is. It's like you got to be really quick to change that line if you're a book. Just based upon the weather coming in. But all in all, like I said, it was just an absolute wonderful weekend. We got some good games coming up this weekend. But, there's also a lot of, I would say, boring games because there's a lot of FCS games. Western Carolina is facing NC State, Arkansas, Pine Bluff, first Arkansas, North Dakota State against Colorado. They're kind of all over the place, right? So, yeah, it's just going to be a weekend of lots of just kind of preseason-ish games for these bigger college football teams. So now that we're here, there is a few big games, and I'm going to give you a free play coming up for this week. And this one, it was a situation where I think the line is off. And it was a 3-star play under the key number of 21. So I will give it at 21.5 right now. The line has moved in my direction. Indiana's playing FIU. And FIU only had like 2 or 3 good players on their team. And those 2 or 3 good players transferred away. As a matter of fact, this team lost a lot of players last year. And if you remember, Indiana, very high in Indiana. They're kind of the James Madison of this year because all the kids and the coach Kirk Cignetti went to Indiana. Well, that system, imagine James Madison playing FIU last year. They would probably win by 35 to 40 points. But not only that, Indiana actually retained their best players, and they got a really good quarterback in Curtis Rourke. I was about to say Tanner Rourke, the brother. Curtis Rourke transferring in from Ohio. He's going to be able to handle it easy and I think really get past this kind of cakewalk of a team. And this spread shouldn't be 20.5. This spread should not be 21.5. FIU is such a rough team. This spread should be at least 25. My power rating has Indiana by 25 points, and they still might be a little bit low on that. 25, not a key number. 20 after 24 probably goes to 27 and 28. That's probably, if I was a bookmaker, where the spread should be. But the fact that people just think Indiana's Indiana, that's why they're so low. 21.5. I mean, shop it and see if you can get it 21, but I'll give it away at 21.5 here. I think that should be still good for 2 stars.
You better lock it up. You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
Please.
All right. Well, let's move a little bit to fantasy football sleepers. We gave a few away last week for quarterbacks and running backs, but I'm just going to do wide receivers, tight ends, defense, and kickers, since a lot of you have drafts this week. So I'll start with wide receivers. The first sleeper I have is probably around pick number 30. I brought him up to, and this is probably from the 50s, is Brian Thomas Jr. from Jacksonville. He was a high draft pick, obviously, first-round draft pick, and he was the other stud at LSU that was making Jaden Daniels look like a rock star. But the difference between him and Neighbors is really not much speed. They're about the same speed, but Brian Thomas is taller than Neighbors, and he's 6'3", 6'4", so he's going to be able to get up and get those big passes. He's going to be a better end zone threat, and I just think that Trevor Lawrence is on a rebound type year. He knows he got paid $55 million. He's knowing the crap that he's getting from the media. I think I do like Jacksonville this year, so we're going to go with Brian Thomas as the first sleeper. The next sleeper is Keon Coleman for Buffalo. I mean, who else are they going to throw the ball to? I guess they can go to their tight ends a lot, but Keon Coleman is going to be, probably their main receiver at some point. He was drafted from Florida State, drafted in the second round, but the fact that Buffalo just doesn't have a lot of options at wide receiver makes him look a lot better. And if people are wrong about Buffalo taking a step back, it's going to be Keon Coleman really deserving to get all those touches. So we have Keon Coleman at pick number 43. The next one is Ricky Pearsall from San Francisco. That Brandon Ayuk thing is so weird, and I know they're probably keeping him, obviously, but anything can happen with this dude. I still think Pearsall could be a good slot receiver, like a Wes Welker type receiver. I still have him as a sleeper. I have him at number pick 52. Maybe still a little too high on him now that Ayuk did not get traded. I would still keep him probably in the top 62, I would say. So when I did this, I was still assuming Ayuk would get traded, but I just want to throw Pearsall's name out there because it still could happen. And then Marvin Mims Jr. from Denver. Bo Nix has been playing really, really good, so I think somebody's going to benefit from that, and I have Marvin Mims Jr., the beneficiary of his better play. I do have some busts. I have Puka Nacua at number 14. A lot of people have him a lot higher, so I moved him down some. You have to remember that Cooper Kupp is still there. He had that awesome rookie season, but to repeat what he did is going to be extremely difficult. So I have Puka Nacua, not a bust, but he's being overpicked. And obviously, Brandon Ayuk still at 31. I don't like picking up disgruntled people. So I'm not a big fan of that. T. Higgins should drop a little bit too because he's been disgruntled over in Cincinnati. Next one I have is Tennessee's Calvin Ridley. I am not a huge Will Levis guy. Some people are this year, but I'm not. I think he drops all the way to 41. So I have him as a bust. Tyler Lockett, I have him at number 70. I think Seattle, with the 3 receivers that they have there, Smith, Najigba, and DK Metcalf, someone's going to suffer, and it's going to be Tyler Lockett. I have him way down to number 70. I probably will not be drafting him in really any league. So there you have it for my sleepers and busts. For wide receiver, we'll move to tight ends. Cole Kmet, I have all the way up to number 9. I think he's going to be a main target for Caleb Williams and the Bears, so I have him up to number 9. Isaiah Likely from Baltimore, I have him up a bit. Now I know, of course they still have Mark Andrews there, but I think they move a little bit closer together. Not like you're going to draft Likely over Mark Andrews, but I have Mark Andrews as a bust at number 8, and I have Likely at number 14. I have Luke Musgrave at number 15 for the Packers as a sleeper. I have Michael Mayer as a somewhat of a sleeper for the Raiders. I just think that Mayer is also going to benefit as they got Brock Bowers, but they still are going to play a lot of 2 tight end sets. I like Gerald Everett for the Bears all the way up to 21. And I like Cade Stover for Houston as a sleeper at number 24. And that guy keeps moving up and up and up. Just the busts I have is guys like Kyle Pitts at number 10. Just like I said, Mark Andrews and Dalton Schultz should probably take a little bit of hit down to number 16. George Kittle's also somebody I think should be in the top 2, not the top 5. A lot of people have him in the top 5. I like George Kittle in the top 2. Defense, Houston Texans is more of a sleeper now. I don't know why they're ranked all the way in the top 12. I think that they paid enough money to help that defense with the D'Amico Ryans defensive coach to be more of a sleeper. Cleveland Browns still should be in the top 2. I see them in the top 5, so they're a little bit undervalued. The Green Bay Packers, I moved them to number 10. They still have a solid defense and should benefit if they're scoring some points. Miami Dolphins, I have a bust for defense. I don't think they have a good defensive coordinator this year, as well as the Buffalo Bills. I had hurt the Bills because they just lost Matt Milano again. They keep screwing up their best players. So we'll move the Bills all the way down to 20. So there you have it. Those are my my sleepers and bust thoughts for some of the stuff that we didn't cover. We'll cover more next week when Dave is going to be on. So there you have it. There you got my free play. Indiana minus 21.5 for a couple stars. Thank you so much for listening to the show. We'll have a much bigger one on Thursday. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. And go get some winners.